Hi folks, my name's Kane Hickey, and I'm the proud and humbled recipient of the 2015 North Alabama AWS Chapter Scholarship. Today, we're up in our Cabernet Sauvignon research vineyard, and we're actually in one of my experimental panels. As you can see, we're looking at fruit zone management. In this vine here, for example, we have some very aggressive leaf removal, non-conventionally aggressive. And up here we have a more conservative type strategy. Now our practices in the East tend to be more in line with this conservative type strategy. And the reason is because throughout the 2000s, some research conducted in warmer, drier, and sunnier climates suggested that and found that too much fruit exposure led to heating the fruit up too much, and then anthocyanins were declined. My hypothesis is that in our climate, we're not warm enough and sunny enough to heat fruit to the point where anthocyanins are decreased. So what we're doing here in this experimental panel is, you can see we have lots of wires. We're monitoring light both in the fruit zone and ambient. We're monitoring temperature in the fruit zone and in ambient conditions, and then we're also measuring berry temperature. Now when I'm logging this, I can add up the amount of time that the berry temperatures spend at or above the critical temperature thresholds, about 35 degrees Celsius, and see if we're getting to the same heat accumulation that those studies out west were conducted in that found that anthocyanins were decreased. My hypothesis is that we don't have to be as conservative as once thought with our fruit zone management. And this is good news in a humid climate like where we grow grapes, because a very aggressive strategy is not only optimal for managing diseases, which we have very high disease pressure in our climate, but I think it can also optimize our fruit composition. So what I'm finding preliminarily is that we are improving fruit composition with more aggressive leaf removal. Thanks.
Hi, I'm Jenna Gargrave. I'm a master's student in viticulture and enology at UC Davis. First, I want to thank the Columbus chapter and the entire American Wine Society for their time and generous support, which allows students like myself to pursue an education in this dynamic field. My passion for winemaking started at an early age with my love for plants. Through school, I discovered my love of science and began investigating into potential careers which incorporated my interests. It is then that I discovered winemaking, and that incorporated every aspect of life which excites me most, and I've been on a constant quest to pursue it since. I got my undergraduate degree in food science and technology from Ohio State University. I then took a year off to gain some industry experience before applying for my master's at UC Davis. I packed up my car and drove across the country from Ohio to Napa Valley in hopes of finding a harvest position, and was thrilled at the opportunity to work at Opus One. My passion for winemaking was solidified. I then jumped hemispheres to Australia to work a harvest in Hunter Valley at Oakvale, and then came back and squeezed in another great harvest at Dumal Winery in Sonoma. Although I'm not conducting a traditional thesis, one field in particular struck me as indisputably critical for the future success of the North American wine industry. I felt the overwhelming need and responsibility as a graduate student planning to pursue a career in winemaking to dedicate my time to the advancement of the vital field of rootstock and grapevine breeding. I work in Dr. Andy Walker's lab on breeding more sustainable, disease-resistant rootstocks and grape varieties. Unlike the traditional laboratory thesis student, I work with a range of research projects by conducting the hands-on field and greenhouse work critical to the success of multiple breeding projects. The current projects involve crossing wild Vitis arizonica species, which contain Pierce disease-resistant genes, with traditional wine grape Vitis vinifera species. Similar trials are being conducted on a range of grapevine and rootstock diseases and limitations, including powdery mildew, nematode, and drought and salt tolerant hybrids, anticipating the future water shortages ahead. The trials are intensive and require years of greenhouse to vineyard trials and selections. The work is great, but the reward even greater. Again, I want to thank the Columbus chapter and the entire American Wine Society for their time and generous support in my education. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Russell Moss. I'm here at the American Society of Enology and Viticulture annual meeting. Eastern vineyards are characterized as having excessively high vigor. In order to combat vigor, folks have employed intensive undervine cover cropping, and cover crops can compete for water and nutrients, most importantly nitrogen. Low vine nitrogen can limit yield potential as well as lead to low yeast assimilable nitrogen, which in turn leads to hydrogen sulfide production, sluggish fermentation, increased volatile acidity, and decreased aromatic intensity in the resulting wine. The objective of my study is to optimize nitrogen management in order to increase vine nitrogen and yeast assimilable nitrogen while maintaining and possibly improving fruit and wine quality. In my study, I employed various nitrogen management schemes on Vidal Blanc, Petit Manseng, and Sauvignon Blanc. To date, we have identified strategies which can both increase yield dramatically through the foliar application of urea, as well as strategies to increase yield and improve vine nitrogen status through the application of soil-applied nitrogen. As we move forward with this work, we will be looking at thiols, which contribute to guava and passion fruit, these sort of tropical fruit aromas that are intrinsic in Sauvignon Blanc and Petit Manseng. I'd like to thank the American Wine Society for the scholarship, and I'll be sure to use it in my team.
Hello, I am Caroline Merrill, and I am currently pursuing a PhD with Dr. Jim Harbertson at Washington State University. My passion for the wine industry has developed over the past couple of years living in Washington State. Before moving out west, I was pursuing a bachelor's degree in chemistry from Bucknell University. I have always wanted to work in a field where chemistry was closely tied to the overall quality of a product and where chemical research was directly applicable and helpful to the industry. The wine industry, with its interconnection of artistic style and scientific backing, seemed like a perfect fit. My passion for wine has only evolved further with the more I learn about the complexity of the industry. My research focuses on the chemistry of anthocyanins and tannins during wine age. Specifically, I'm looking at how different factors such as wine cultivar and berry maturity affect the formation of polymeric pigments over time. I enjoy conducting research that will have an immediate impact and therefore an immediate implication on the wine industry. By understanding what happens to wine phenolics as wine age, we will be able to enable winemakers to have more control over their final product. I want to thank the American Wine Society, Educational Foundation, and the Thomas Jefferson Kentucky chapter of the American Wine Society for awarding me this scholarship.
Hi, my name's Megan Hall, and I'm a third-year PhD candidate at Cornell University. I work at the New York State Agricultural Experiment Station in Geneva, New York, under the advisement of Wayne Wilcox in the section of plant pathology. For the last 2.5 years, I've been trying to answer some basic questions about a disease that plagues our region and other wine-growing regions around the world. This disease is sour rot. My PhD focuses on determining the causal organisms, epidemiology, and management strategies for the disease. This is sour rot. It's a disease that's long been recognized as a problem, yet we still don't know the causes, and that's where I come in. You can see that the grape skin turns brown, fruit flies are commonly associated, and the juice oozing from the berries smells very strongly of acetic acid, and we can't make good wine out of vinegar. Over the past 3 years, I've been trying to determine the causes of sour rot, the disease progression, along with how to manage it. With the help of Finger Lakes grape growers, for whom this disease is a real problem, I've made a lot of progress, although we still have a ways to go. I'm very thankful to the American Wine Society for the second year of support. I could not have come as far in my research without you. I've been able to attend conferences and present my work, which has put me in touch with growers around the world who are experiencing troubles with sour rot. This winter, I'll be spending 5 months in Tasmania, continuing to work on my project, and that trip would not have been possible without your help. Thanks for your continued support of students like me. It's invaluable. Have a great conference.
Hi, my name is Gal Kreckman, and I'm from the Pennsylvania State University. I'm currently a PhD candidate in the Department of Food Science. My initial interest in wine research began as an undergraduate, where I focused on the effect of oxidation on white wine color. Working on this project and reviewing the literature, my interest became great enough to pursue a master's degree. In my master's, I followed a similar path, focusing on the effect of metal-catalyzed oxidation and the quality of white wines. After I finished my master's, I had a great opportunity of working with the Australian Wine Research Institute. I was able to learn more about wine and diversify my knowledge about quality problems Australian winemakers face. Australian winemakers use screw caps almost exclusively in their wines, so they tend to run into issues with the generation of sulfidic off-odors, such as hydrogen sulfide. I changed my focus from oxidation reactions to reductive reactions. The use of reductive winemaking is becoming increasingly common in North America, and the issue of spoilage due to reductive odors is a major problem. I decided to focus on this during my PhD. My goals are to understand the interaction between transition metals and thiols in wine. Copper, for example, is commonly used in winemaking and is added intentionally to control sulfidic off-odors, but its overall long-term effects remain poorly understood. My current and future goal is to really understand copper-mediated oxidations, followed by reductive reactions of thiols in wine to understand the spoilage. Opening a bottle of wine that smells like sulfidic off-odors, such as hydrogen sulfide, is a huge letdown for both consumers and the winemakers. I'm hoping that my current and future work can provide the winemakers with the tools necessary to control this problem and provide a better quality of wine. I'm very thankful to the American Wine Society for their recognition and support.
When it comes to food and drinks, New Mexico is well known for its enchiladas, sopapillas, a growing brewing industry, and of course, its green chili. However, did you know that the birthplace of wine in the present-day United States is also located here? In 1629, the first vineyards were planted in the Rio Grande Valley of southern New Mexico. This is the same location where I caught the wine bug and was inspired to pursue enology and viticulture. Volunteering at Rio Grande Winery under the direction of Gordon Steele showed me the art and tradition behind New Mexico winemaking. However, with my biochemistry background from New Mexico State University, I desired a deeper understanding of wine on a scientific basis. So I packed my bags and headed to Washington State University to work in the lab of Dr. Charles Edwards. His lab is well known for its research in wine microbiology and for providing the wine industry with new information on how to prevent wine spoilage. Currently, I'm working with the wine spoilage microorganism known as Brettanomyces bruxellensis, or simply Brett. My research investigates how Brett may be surviving in vineyards, how Brett penetrates different types of oak, and how steaming treatments can be optimized to remove this yeast from infected wine barrels. Beyond wine, WSU has also given me the opportunity to explore other aspects of food science. For example, I am currently working on several product development teams to come up with new flavors of cheese. One flavor includes combining the classic WSU Cougar Gold Cheddar with authentic Hatch Green chilies. Studying at WSU is made possible in part by a scholarship from the American Wine Society Educational Foundation. After receiving my PhD, I hope to use my skills and knowledge to help advance the food and wine industries of my home state. Thanks for watching this video. Please feel free to contact me if you have any questions or comments. Cheers.